killed or an innocent person. I tell you what, it took place down in Mexico. And I went down with a Comandante, Federale, with his guys, and myself and another agent. It's in the book. I didn't have a choice. We're at a Cessna. It was all burnout. I knew who stole the coke off that plane. It was a Comandante. A Comandante is a commander. It's a Federale. He's like God, okay, more or less down in Mexico. And he wanted to take a picture of me. And out in the middle of the desert, this is down at Gulf of Mexico. We're out in the desert, and I'm a white guy. I'm just white as can be. And everybody else was Hispanic, even my partner, Hispanic or Mexican-American, and so on. But he said, I want to take a picture of you, talking to me, right, this Comandante. And I knew what he wanted for. Show the whole world D.E.A. photograph of Larry Hardren. And I told him, more or less, going through Ralph is my interpreter, if he wants a picture of me without my shirt, he's going to have to tell his 12 guys that he's with, you know, the guys that work for him, they all got to take their shirts off. And that way he can take a picture of all of us. Well, to make things short, sure enough, he told everybody to take their shirts off. And so there I'm standing there looking at him face to face. And I took my shirt off and I said, knock yourself out, more or less. Take all the pictures you want. It's common sense, Gary. When someone's trying to kill you or trying to hurt you, you want to stay alive. And you want to do anything you can to stay alive, to get some time where you can defend yourself. But when you say that, just make it short here. People say, well, it's the most dangerous thing that you ever encounter in your life. People say, have you ever shot anybody? Thank God I never gave them a chance to do that. And but the most dangerous thing I ever encountered in my life are face to face. And a lot of people just go into shock over this. But I tell them, I said, it's been faithful to my wife. And that is true. I've been married 38 years. I think I've been married. I've been married so long that I don't know if it's 37 or 38, 39, but it's been a long time. And it's like taking money. If you take money, you're no good anymore. Have I been around a lot of money by myself? You bet. Have I been around a lot of sex with women, with drugs and so on? You bet I have. Have I seen it? I've seen a lot of stuff. But there's one commitment that you make, and that's your character. You know that, Gary. If you take money from someone, whether it's $1 or 100 or 1,000, you cross that line, man. Okay? And I don't care if it's a bad guy's money. You still don't take it. Okay? You take it, you seize it, and you turn it over to the government and let them do what they want to do. And same with sex. I've seen a lot of it, man. Beautiful women, buddy. Beautiful women down in Colombia. Beautiful women. The Latino women, beautiful women. Venezuela. Who wins the university pageant every year? I've seen it all. And your audience out there, and especially if anybody listening that knows Larry Hardren, they know that, hey, man, you make a faith to God, and you stand there and look up, and you make a vow in your marriage and whatever. No one's perfect. But I tell you what, I try to keep that promise, not to my wife, but to my faith. And that's been my challenge, is trying to be faithful to my wife, which I have. I hope she's not listening to this radio right now.
Well, if she is, she'll be happy.
Huh?
If she is, she'll be happy. I can say this, going on 43 years for me being married.
Wow, congratulations.
So, I
43 years.
43 years. Now, my first marriage was 2.5 years, and that felt like 43 years.
Oh, wow. No, I was 28 years old when I got married, and she was too, so we both knew exactly what we wanted in life. And hey, you know what? She became my best friend. Hey, I had a lot of beautiful women that I dated, but I never had a woman that was my friend. Never, until I met my wife. I met her in Spain, and I couldn't touch her. I couldn't hold her hands. It took me 6 months just to hold hands with her, and I never experienced that with anybody out there. And I met a lot of beautiful, great women, but they were never my friends. My friends was my buddies, and so on. But anyway, Gary, I hope you get a chance to read both books. I think you're on I just don't look at the results, the reviews. I got one bad review, and that came out of Yuma, Arizona. That must have been a crook's daddy, his son or somebody, because that's one bad review. But it's all been really, really good. As long as I continue to get reviews and get guys like you asking to come on the radio show, I will continue to push and talk about it. And I'm a kind of guy that can talk to you about, well, you know that now. I can talk to you about just anything in life. And
interesting. Now, where can they find your books?
Amazon has it. Inglewood Sparks has it. Barnes and Noble. I tell you, right in front of me for year 2020, I'm looking at my list. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got about 7 Barnes and Nobles that I'll be doing book reviews or book events. I got 2, one in Nelson County, Kentucky, at the library. I got one in Bullitt County. I mean, and that's not counting. I mean, I got Hawaii now. They reached out for me today, and they're asking me would I like to come on their studio there. It's a radio show out of Hawaii, in Barnes and Noble in Hawaii. So it's trying to market myself, and also I just found out here about 3 or 4 days ago. They asked me to come down to Wardwick's bookstore. It's in La Jolla, California. It's like Beverly Hills, more or less. This is where Huckabee and a lot of people go down and get their books started. Well, I was very fortunate. They told me to come down and spend a couple hours with them. So I don't know what's in the book. I think, Gary, when people read a book, I was in Spain. I've done several book events over there at the military base in Rota, and it's just incredible when someone stares at you, and they walk up to you, and they say they know you, and they said they read your book, and before you know it, they're giving you a hug. These are men. These are military men that retired or whatever. I had several. We just looked at each other and started talking because they can relate to the stories. When I mentioned about, there's so many stories there, but when I talked about Pepper getting killed. Well, after Pepper died, I remembered what Grandpa Hardren told me. He said, boy, once an animal kills another animal, he's no good anymore. He tastes blood. Well, I said the same thing in D.E.A. when I started working. Once a human being kills another human being and kills and kills and kills, they're no good anymore. They're no good.
Now, hey, our time is up, but I can let you hang on after the 2-minute break for another 15 minutes if you want to. That's up to you, Larry.
No, listen, you can ask me, or I look forward to it.
Yeah, I think James has a couple questions. He's my news guy, and we'll be back in 2 minutes with Larry Hardren. You can find his book, Fighting My Greatest Enemy, Myself, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. We'll be back, after this.
You and I, living in the strangest of times, on my hill, watching while the cities rise from the cleft that we left when the sun beat it down into the valley. Of times, you and me, watching while the cities rise and fall like rain. Seems like I knew you before, but when did I knew you then? Funny how the colors bend when lifetimes start to blend, and we've been spinning mysteries bandana. Living in the strangest of times, you and me, watching while the cities rise and fall like rain, fall like rain, fall like rain, fall like rain.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. And thank you.
You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark with our host, Gary Anderson.
And that is me. Well, again, you want to check this book out, Fighting My Greatest Enemy, Myself, written by a former D.E.A. agent, Larry Hardren. You need to check that out on Amazon. And Larry, James has some questions he wants to ask you. And
Okay,
James, here's Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Hello, James.
I wanted to, how you doing? First thing I want to ask is, I'm sure over your long career, you came across some cohorts that were probably on the take or maybe not very, or shady, and that would probably concern not just American law enforcement, but especially maybe South American or Central America. And my question to you is, what was your reaction to that? What did you do about that, or how did you overcome it or deal with it?
Okay, I'll give you, it's in the book. It's on both books. But let me give you an example here. Okay? James, you and I are working together, and we just happened to stop a car, and I asked the individual, I said, how much dope or how much money do you have in the car? He says $50,000. It's a lot more, $200,000 or $50,000. It's like $200,000. And you, as my partner, I said, James, I tell you what, you take care of the money. I take care of the doper. I'm going to process him, and you process the money. Okay, this is my experience. I'm giving you an example when I first started, and I learned how to handle this. Then we found out, or I found out later, that there wasn't $200,000 there. Okay? They only seized $50,000. Okay? Well, now, what happened to the $150,000? Okay? It's the word of the bad guy or the word of the cop. I always take the word of the cop. It's integrity. But once I found out that if the cop, or an agent, is doing something which he's not supposed to be doing, if he does it in front of me, if he does it right in front of me, put money in his pocket, or he abused whatever, and I know that, then I make it very clear to you, James. I said, James, I'm going to give you a choice. What you just did here, you better get on down there, you better talk to that supervisor, or our boss, and you better take care of this now. Don't let anybody come to me and tell me, like OPR, Internal Affairs, or whatever, said, I want to talk to you about James. I believe that you need to take care of that problem. I do not run behind your back or anyone that's involved in corruption. Now, did it happen? Yes, it did happen. Right? Did I see it? No. Because they know that I'm that kind of person, that if I seen them doing something that they shouldn't be doing, okay, then they need to take care of that problem themselves. Because I don't want anybody to come to me that's doing the investigation why there was money missing and say, did you know James was involved with this? Okay? That's happened to me before. Okay? That's happened to me more than once. I was down in Colombia, and I flew out from Colombia, went right into D.E.A. headquarters in Washington, D.C. I raised my right hand, I swore to the statements, and I made it very clear. I didn't like this agent in Colombia, but I told him the truth. You always tell the truth, man. And that's who I am. It's my integrity. I explained that through the whole book. And so when you talked about corruption, hey, listen, man, my very first, and I just say this, I was taking a car that we seized, that we took from these bad guys. Going back to the office, I heard something in the back seat, like something just fell down, make a thump sound. Well, when I got to the office, I'm the only one that has control of that vehicle. Okay? There was a large amount of money laying there. I took it inside, and I counted right away. It was $86,000. No one knew, except me and the bad guy, how much money that was there. Did I thought about it? You're absolutely right. I thought about it. Who cares? Who cares if I took $40,000? It's my word against the bad guy. But you know what? Couldn't do it. Because, like I said before, if I take $1 or take whatever, $86,000 or $40,000, I'm no good anymore. I'm no good to myself, no good to my family. I'm just no good. And it's a corruption that's going to lead me down to a bad path. And it has